G'day, it's Pete here and welcome back to Reboot Your Bridge. Now today we're going to be looking at responders' objectives. So we're going to start looking at all the different things that responder can do, and today we're just going to look at their objectives. What are they trying to achieve? Now that's really important for working out what they should be trying to do in the bidding. Anyway, let's go through what they're actually going to do. So the two general objectives that people are trying to achieve in the bidding when working together is to find a fit and work out how high they should go. So finding a fit, basically we want 8 cards between the two hands for that to be a really good trump suit. The more, the better, but less than 8, not fantastic, but we'll talk a bit more about that later. The second thing you want to work out is how high you should go. Now for this we want to use high card points or points in general to work out how high we want to go between the two hands. So basically, if you've got at least 25 points, you want to be in game. If you've got 33 points, you want to be in slam. And if you've got 37 points, you want to be in grand slam. So they're our general guidelines for how high we want to go. And that's working out between the two hands. So both opener and responder want to use this. Though basically their bids will be clarified by will either clarify one of these two things. They will either help us find a fit, or they will help us work out how high we should go. So the next, just really delving into responder a bit more, is finding out the order of preference of what they want to try and do. Because if we find a fit, there are some times that we have multiple fits, and working out what we should actually do there. So when we find a fit, is that good enough? Should we stop there or should we look elsewhere? Now, basically, if we find a major suit fit, this is the premium fits. These are the premium types of things that we are looking for, and we should settle on that. So, if we're only in a part score, what we want to do is the order of preference of where we want to play is if we've got a major suit fit, that's perfect. If we have a minor suit fit, okay. And if we don't have either of them, then we settle in no trumps. So if it's just in a part score battle, first we look for a major. Then if we can't, we find a minor suit place to stop. And then finally, we're happy to settle in no trumps. Now, like the difference between minors and no trumps isn't much, but basically, if we have a minor suit fit, we want to play there. If we don't find a minor suit fit, we're happy for no trumps. Whereas if we go looking at a game contract, so when we are looking to choose which game we actually want to play in, again, major suit fits are the premium spot to play. That's, if we find a major suit fit, that is where we're going to play. Next on the list is 3 no trumps. So we want to try and play in no trumps rather than playing in a minor. So you might find a minor suit fit, but still prefer to play in no trumps. Now this all comes back to the level of the game contracts. So it's 3 no trumps for no trumps, 4 of a major, and 5 of a minor. So the 5 level is awfully high. So basically, even if we find a minor suit fit, if we've got enough points for game, we really prefer playing in no trumps. It's only if we don't think no trumps is a good spot to play will we instead choose to actually play in the minor. So working out our order of preference is important for making our decisions about where responder should be going. So again, if it's just a part score, if we find a fit, that's good, but we'd still prefer to find the major suit fits. So major suit fits are better than minor suit fits, and if we don't find a fit, then we're happy to play in no trumps. Whereas if we're in a game contract, major suit fits still the best thing that we look for, but after that, then it's instead no trumps rather than going for a minor suit game. So just understanding that no trumps is better than minors if we're looking for a game contract, but if we're just going to settle for a part score, then we are happy to find our minor suit fit. So it's important to understand that little distinction there. So the next thing you want to do is what does responder do after their partner limits their hand, or either person limits their hand? It's important to understand the process that you want to go through when partner makes a limited bid. Now we'll talk later in this Reboot Your Bridge sort of grouping about what what bids are limiting and how we actually go through this process, but the general thing you want to do is combine your assets. So there are sometimes bids where partner will show a specific point range and you can see how many points you have, and now all you want to do is combine those points together to work out what is your combined assets. So if your partner has 12 to 14 points and you have 13, your combined assets are 25 to 27, so you have enough for game. Whereas if your partner shows 12 to 14 and you have 8, then your combined assets are 20 to 22, so you don't have enough points for game, so you're in the part score range. So remember the ranges are at least 25 for game, 33 for slam, and 37 for grand slam. If you're below 25, you're just in the part score range. So whenever partner makes a limited bid, and we'll delve into what bids are limiting another day, but when they do, what we want to do is combine your assets and work out which sort of point range you're in, and that'll help you work out how high you should go. Do you have enough points to go to game? Do you have enough points to go to slam? Or should we just stop in a part score? These are the common decisions that we make. Once your partner's limited their hand and you've combined your assets, you'll now be in charge. You'll know how high you want to go. So usually what you'll do is set the contract. If you know what the trumps are and you know how high to go, you can place the contract now. But other times you'll need to be able to work out how to get more information. So once partner's limited their hand, you always want to combine your assets and work out how high to go. And if you know where the contract should go, straight away set the contract. That is the most important thing to do. A lot of the time though, you might still need more information because there's a range of points that partner can have or more distributions you can have. You might know how high to go, but you might not know which suit to play in. You don't know if you've got a major suit fit yet, you don't know if you should play in no trumps or if should go for a minor. So sometimes you'll need to get more information, but if you know where to set the contract, go right ahead and do that. So it's important to understand what Responder's meant to do after a limiting bid, which is combine your assets, then work out if they can set the contract, or if not, they should find out more information. And how you can find out more information is an interesting thing and really changes depending on situation, but it's useful to understand that. So that's the next thing that Responder should do. The final thing that Responder should consider is when you don't have a fit. There's lots of time we want to find 8-card fits and play that. They're really good, but sometimes we can't find that out. Either we don't have a fit or the auction gets a bit convoluted and we can't keep bidding because otherwise we'll escalate the auction a bit too much. So the other thing that Responder should consider is finding a playable spot. So this is basically when they're really weak, what should Responder be trying to do? So if you find a fit, fantastic, like that is perfect, we've found a fit and we can keep the auction low. If we don't find a fit, what we want to do is find a playable spot. Now what I mean by playable spot is usually when we've got 7 trumps. There are certain situations where there's 6, like if you've got like a 6-card suit opposite 0, occasionally a really good 5-card suit opposite a singleton, but most of the time a playable spot will have 7 trumps. We want the majority of the trumps to be trying to play there. So basically you don't need to panic if you don't find a fit. You don't need to convert it to no trumps. If we're really weak, what we want to do is just keep the auction as low as possible. We don't want to just convert to no trumps because we haven't found a fit. We'll talk more about what that will show in a later times, but basically if you're really weak, you want to find a playable spot where you can keep the auction low and stop them. So 7-card fits are perfectly playable. When we're trying to investigate, we're trying to find 8-card fits, but if we're trying to bail out of an auction, 7-card spots are completely playable. Don't panic about leaving your partner in a 7-card fit. That will be okay. So that's the final sort of objective of Responder. When they're really weak, try and find a playable spot if they can't find a fit. Which means that you don't always have to convert, say, 2 hearts to 2 no trumps just because you've only got 7 hearts. Playing in with a 7-card trump suit, completely reasonable. Don't panic. That is fine to leave partner there. Anyway, that's all I was going to cover today. Just a bit on Responder's objectives. The main things you're trying to work out is find a fit and how high you should go. It's important to understand what your order of preferences are, which actually changes if you're looking for a part score or a game contract. Also, when partner makes a limiting bid, what we're meant to do after that. And then finally, when we don't have a fit and we've got a weak hand, we want to just find a playable spot, so keep the auction nice and low. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this Reboot Your Bridge, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye for now.